First of all, I'd like to introduce the New Hampshire Department of Transportation Director of Operations, Bill Janelle. Bill Janelle's been gracious enough to start the conference with opening remarks for us this afternoon. As the Director of Operations, he's responsible for the maintenance of operations throughout New Hampshire Department of Transportation and has been serving in this position since 2010. During his career with the DOT, he has filled executive management positions in both operations and project development divisions. In this position, he has acquired experience in engineering design, planning, asset management, winter maintenance, right-of-way acquisition, and construction. Bill manages a budget of about $120 million and serves as transportation lead for emergency response efforts here in New Hampshire. Bill started in the DOT in 1992. Prior to working with the department, he served as city engineer for the city of Dover, New Hampshire, and has worked as a consultant engineer and in building contractor. Bill received his associate's degree in civil technology from the University of Hampshire in 1981 and bachelor's of science degree for civil engineering in New England College in 1984. He's a licensed professional engineer in New Hampshire. So please join me in welcoming Bill Janelle. Bill.
Thank you, Doug. And again, good afternoon. And I want to welcome everybody to the Northeast Bridge Preservation Partnership meeting. And also welcome you to New Hampshire. We're proud to host this event this year. And maybe now that we have you up to New Hampshire, what I'm going to do is give you a brief overview of New Hampshire and a brief overview of New Hampshire DOT, and then talk a little bit about our bridge maintenance group, who, if I have an opportunity to brag about a group, that's the one I usually like to talk about. They do a lot of great things for us. And I have a lot of respect for bridge maintenance folks in general. With that, let's move forward here. So again, Manchester. We've decided to host this event in Manchester, and just some quick facts. This is our largest city in New Hampshire, about 110,000. The population is about 110,000. And if you look around at the river area, there's a lot of old mills down there. Those were originally textile mills. They're called the Amoskeag mills. And at one time, Manchester was the largest textile manufacturing facility in the world and turned out about 50 miles of material per hour. So a little history about Manchester, but as you see, the downtown, a lot of shops, a lot of restaurants, great city for New Hampshire. Also, another fact about New Hampshire is we're known for our White Mountain region, and which includes Mount Washington, which is the highest peak east of the Mississippi River. It's often called home of the worst weather in the world, where in 1934, weather observers in a small hut on top of the mountain recorded wind speeds of over 231 miles an hour. So it doesn't look like that right now, but come back in a few months and it will. Also, you travel, New Hampshire's relatively small. You go about an hour in any direction, and you can see a very diverse area. But to our southeast, we've got beaches, we've got rocky coastline, Rye, Hampton, Newcastle in that area. We've also got, as I said, the White Mountain region, many other mountains other than Mount Washington up there that a lot of folks recreate on. We've also got our lakes region, which is in the middle of the state, including some very large lakes, Lake Winnipesaukee, Newfound, Squam Lake, a lot of boating and fishing opportunities there, and many towns throughout the state. Doug mentioned Portsmouth, which is on the seacoast, but also Concord, our capital city, which is in the middle of the state, Keene on the southwest side, or if you go north, you've got Conway, Lincoln, many other small towns that a lot of folks go to. In New Hampshire, probably our biggest industry is tourism, and a lot of folks recreate in New Hampshire, but hiking is a very popular activity, along with in the wintertime. Skiing rules. We've got about 20 ski areas throughout the White Mountain region as well. And snowmobiling goes along with that also. And recently, we've opened ATV Park in Coos County, which is called Ride to the Wilds, but we've got about 1,000 miles of ATV trails that we have folks travel up, stay, and spend some time traveling around the ATV trails. So a little more into bridges. Just some facts. New Hampshire is also well known for its covered bridges. We've got 54 covered bridges across the state, including 4 which are state-owned. Where we share with Vermont the longest historic covered bridge in the U.S. between Cornish, New Hampshire, and Windsor, Vermont, with a length of 465 feet. And we're also home to the oldest standing covered bridge, which was built in 1829, and that's the Haverhill Bath covered bridge in our North Country. A little bit of information about our transportation network. About 4,600 miles of state roadways with 2,160 state bridges. Our bridge deck area is about 10 million square feet as well. Our DOT is made up of about 1,650 employees, and that's down over as many DOTs. We've kind of reduced our size over the last 10 years. That's shrunk about 10%. From our budget standpoint, we've got about $270 million budget, and with it broken down in those categories, federal highway and federal highway fund, $158 million, and then following down through. 6 maintenance districts spread throughout the state, which are, New Hampshire is centralized, so all of our design, right-of-way, and technical functions are in Concord at our main office. Our district offices are pretty much maintenance offices. 12 bridge maintenance crews centered throughout the state, and to go along with the highway maintenance piece, we've got 86 or 87 maintenance sheds throughout the state as well. Adequate funding, it's always an issue for transportation agencies, and it's difficult to convey the information to legislatures. So this year we put together a comparison of some of the normal household expenses and compared costs to the transportation network. But if you look on this chart, what these smaller bar graphs here are, that's your monthly cost. This is your yearly cost. So we took some regular bills that everybody has typically, you know, your electric bill, your cell phone bill, your cable TV bill, and even your coffee in the morning, and factored those out as to what's the monthly cost for that. And then we looked at our DOT, and you know, we know the number of people that the state folks that are registered drivers in the state, and looked at that information as a comparison. And it was very effective to be able to speak to our legislatures about what your transportation system costs. And you know, the privilege to be able to use that system day in and day out. If you look at just the operating costs, so you know, your plowing, your maintenance, highway maintenance, bridge maintenance, keeping the stripes on the road, signs, signals, all those day-to-day things that keep our system open, the average person, you're paying about $14 a month for that. And when you compare that to, you know, your coffee at $80 a month, or your cable TV bill, or your, I mean, my cell phone bill is a heck of a lot more than that. But the result is transportation is a really good value for folks, and it was an effective way to convey this information to our legislature. We've also got a very active asset management program here at DOT. We've broken our highway system down into different priority levels. Tier 1 being the highest priority, that's our interstates and our turnpikes. Tier 4 being the lowest. You know, and as you can see, green is in good shape, red, not such good shape. But, you know, our main focus is obviously those Tier 1 highways. We can't afford to let those fail. So that's where a lot of our money gets invested. We're looking closer at this because, you know, even though Tier 4 is our lowest priority, it still needs some attention, and we can't ignore those roads, and that's those roads and bridges, and some of that's what's happened over the years, but we need to be able to spend enough to at least keep these sections serviceable, maintainable, so that they can still be used. But it's all a matter of money. You know, we'd love to see them all green, but the reality is our lower priorities will never be perfect, and we've come to that realization that they're not created equal, basically. You know, there's certainly a different level to a tier 1 priority than a tier 4 priority. But looking a lot closer at asset management within our system. Now a little bit about bridge maintenance. The Bridge Maintenance Bureau consists of 102 employees with about a $10 million annual budget. They maintain 2,160 state-owned bridges, which includes our 4 lift bridges. We've got 2 lift bridges in Portsmouth and a lift bridge in Newcastle and one in Hampton as well. And their efforts are, their efforts are broken down between rehabilitation, preservation, emergency management, and they're kind of split into thirds, basically, in those areas. So bridge preservation, this is our washing crew. You know, in an ideal world, we'd like to get out there and wash our bridges every year. I don't think we're quite there yet, Doug. Maybe every 2 years, but we would certainly like to get out there and do that. But that's one of our focuses. Bridge repairs, it's not unusual for our guys. Obviously, they're working under our bridges. They're working underwater all the time, frequently, where they need to move the water out of the way so they can get to the work. But I think we get a great value out of our bridge maintenance crew that can go in and do these repairs. They're skilled, they're equipped, and we can put them in where we need them at a moment's notice. Rehabilitation, same idea. It's often that we'll have a bridge that is down, and it needs to be downposted for whatever reason, and our bridge maintenance crew will go in and make that repair so we can maintain the load rating. Bridge maintenance actually takes many bridges off the red list, and they're pretty much on par year to year with our capital program. And you know, they have a niche. They're not going to take on huge projects, but those smaller projects, often bridge maintenance can do it for the cost that it would take to put the contract together, do the engineering work, and do the inspection. So we see a great value in what we get out of our bridge maintenance folks. This is one of our lift bridges. This is actually the Memorial Bridge that's in Portsmouth, and I think there's a tour possibly on Friday where you may get on and take a look at this. This bridge was rebuilt last year or the year before? 3 years. Okay, time flies. But it's there's 2 of these lift bridges side by side. This one is just been replaced. The other lift bridge, the Sarah Mildred Long Bridge, is at the end of its useful life. And fortunately, we've got our neighbors in Maine that we're partnering with to reconstruct that bridge right now. But many thanks to our bridge maintenance crew that keep these bridges going. You know, once they reach the end of their life, the deterioration curve really gets steep, and our folks are out there keeping these bridges intact day to day. Emergency response, that's also where I have seen personally great value in bridge maintenance. They've got an assortment of temporary bridges that they can put out at a moment's notice, and we've done this. This, I believe, was during Tropical Storm Irene, where we had a washout, and Doug's crew put this bridge in place within a week or so. So you know, when there's a storm, they were certainly on my speed dial, that's for sure, and have great value. So basically, enjoy your conference, exchange ideas, collaborate, learn, and innovate. Often, you know, these conferences are great because if you spend your time in one state, you don't see what everybody else is doing, and this gets everybody together and to share those ideas. So we're glad to have you here this year, and thank you.